What is up, guys? It is your LOL support here. Be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up. Like us on Facebook and Twitter to ask us questions and to receive news on the channel. Links for both will be in the description below. And last, be sure to tick that subscribe button to join our team, but more importantly, to join our family. Alright guys, see ya.
But now that you're gone, I can fly.
What is up, guys? It is your LOL support here, and today we're going to be bringing you a really sad guide. Just kidding, we're bringing you the guide on the sad mummy, Mr. Amumu. So without any further ado, let's get into some of his abilities. Amumu's first ability is Curse Touch. Amumu's auto attacks reduce the target's magic resistance by 15, 20, and 25 for 3 seconds. This debuff refreshes with every basic attack. So every time that you auto attack a champion while you are Amumu, you're going to refresh that timer. You're not going to add stacks of that timer. So you don't have to consistently auto attack. You can auto attack, do a couple spells, and then auto attack again. Just as long as you're within that 3 second time frame, you're going to be using your passive to the most efficient way possible. Of course, you want to try and auto attack as much as possible, especially if you're in the jungle and you got a red buff, but that's beside the point. So yeah, that's his passive, and let's go into his Q, Bandage Toss. Now, this skill has an increased mana cost while you upgrade it, and seeing as how, me personally, I like to upgrade my Bandage Toss in the jungle, just because I like to gank a lot. I like to max my ganking tools first, so you're going to see me max that a lot. That's going to make you run into some mana problems, and you might need to coordinate with your mid laner on getting blues, or you could just do what I did in this guide and have total jungle control. Then you could have blues, and your mid laner could have blues too. But we'll get into that in a second. Amumu tosses a sticky bandage in a straight line towards a target location. Amumu will pull himself to any enemy it contacts, dealing magic damage and stunning them for 1 second. Now, the stun does not go up as you level it, but the base magic damage will go up as well, or will go up instead. So, because this connects with any enemy unit and will pull you towards them, you can use this to get over walls where monster camps are, and you can use this to get over dragon pit, things like that. So that's a nice thing to notice. This will be blocked by Yasuo's wind wall, so be careful of that. Alright, so right here, I didn't know whether Elise was going to invade my jungle or not. So what you see me do is I put a ward over that wall right there, and after I do raids, I'm going to walk all the way around, because I haven't seen her on my buff yet. Like, I haven't seen her try to take my blue, or my red buff yet. So I'm going to go around the whole perimeter just to check if she's maybe in that bush waiting to rappel up and then drop down, because Ahri was suspicious in the early game. It looked like she dropped down a ward, so I thought maybe she was going to try and counter jungle me. But she ended up not doing that. She ended up just doing a pretty typical jungle route. So good job there by Trigger getting the first blood. Now what you see me doing here is this is a way to get the most efficient clear speed with Amumu. You want to drag the red buff in and then walk between the red buff and the two small lizards. Because what this does is your tears and also your tantrum, it's called a bingo, and your tantrum will be hitting all the enemies here, compared to having me be on this side and me not damaging these guys. So this is how you get a little bit more efficient of a clear speed on the red buff as a mover. So let's go back into this. Alright, let's go into Despair, which is his tears. This only costs 8 mana per second, and this will not increase as you level it, which is why some people will level this for clear speed, but I choose not to. Okay, so right here you see me come in for a gank, and I noticed that Ahri is way too far up. Now instead of bandage tossing here, I'm going to try and lead the shot a little bit. Bandage toss has a pretty good hit radius, so I'm going to aim about right here. So that way if she walks back a little bit, I'll catch her. If she walks that way, I'll catch her. So right there you see I was able to get a good bandage toss off, turn on my tears, auto attack every chance that I get, and then once I notice that we're not able to do much else as an Amumu, because I don't want to give away double buff to Ahri, I figured, you know what, just let Nidalee do the rest of the work. Nidalee has enough damage as is. So we were able to get a good gank off there. So, Amumu is surrounded by a small pool of damaging tears. Enemies in the area take magic damage each second equal to a base amount plus a percentage of max health. So this means that Amumu is able to take down Dragon and Baron a little bit better than some junglers. Right there you just saw a flash bandage toss. That's a combo that you want to get down with Amumu. Flash bandage tosses should end up winning you a game or two. Right there we were able to burn a flash on him, but I was sadly had to burn mine. I thought we would have enough damage to kill him right there. But anyways, yeah, that was just a quick bandage flash right here. I'm just trying to get a bandage toss off, but I'm just barely missing. Right here I'm trying to bait out the base. I wanted to base here, and if you guys are junglers, here's a small tip for you. If you base right here and right before the basing animation is done, you walk into the bush, it looks as if you based, and as long as the enemy doesn't have vision of this bush, they'll be completely oblivious to the fact that you're still in lane. So that might be a fun trick to use. Just using the fog of war and lack of vision to your advantage in the game. So the additional damage per second goes 1.5, 1.8, 2.1, 2.4, and 2.7, and this scales 1% per 100 AP. So you're not going to be getting a lot of damage out of this spell through AP alone. If you decide to go Spectral Wraith, or if you decide to go Rallies or Leandries, then by all means you're probably going to get a little bit more damage out of that. But I prefer to build a tankier Amumu just so I can initiate the fights and get out cleanly and just overall be a bullet sponge. I like tanky AP junglers. If you haven't noticed, I played Sejuani a lot. I play Amumu. They're just all in all pretty tanky. So let's go into his next ability, which is Tantrum. Tantrum also doesn't go up in mana cost, so if you max this, it will be a good route. You'll be able to get some damage reduction, and it won't cost that much mana to use. The way I build Amumu, as far as maxing my skill order, I probably use the most inefficient Amumu as far as mana costs are concerned, but it's worth it. You know, you win games and you're able to control a lot. So, passive, Amumu takes reduced physical damage from auto attacks and abilities, and this damage reduction goes to 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 damage reduction. Active, Amumu releases his anger, dealing magic damage to surrounding enemies. Each auto attack that hits Amumu, and this does include monster camps, so you will have increased clear speeds at wraiths and at wolves, because there will be more monsters there to auto attack you. So right there, just warding up my Tri-Brush for my jungler. We were able to tell that Elise was in the top side because I saw the ward go down, and at the same time I saw Cho'Gath in lane. So I knew that two people had to be there. I was checking all around the map, and everyone was still in their lanes. So I knew for sure that Elise was there. I knew she might be coming in for a counter gank, but you see I didn't follow up that gank too much. Right here, Nidalee gets charmed, and I'm trying to stand around right here. Just in case if Elise decides to come in, I was going to bandage toss her and get the stun, and hopefully save my Nidalee. So right here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create some map pressure by pushing an objective, because a lot of junglers, they go to a lane, they gank, and they don't create any pressure. Like, they don't stop the enemy jungler, or they don't pressure and force the enemy jungler to go somewhere. So right here, I see that Elise is in bot lane right now, so I know that her blue is roughly going to come up at the same time or a bit earlier. I don't know why she was so slow to clear this, but we're going to go in and take this buff, because I know that her blue spawns roughly around the time my blue starts. I thought it was going to be a little earlier, so that's why I missed the bandage toss. So right there I give the blue buff over to Nidalee, and I take all of the small camps so I can get a timer on their blue. So Elise is nowhere to be found. Her blue buff was taken, and we have the timer now, and she does not, so we're going to be able to stay on top of that. Okay, so his ultimate abilities, Curse of the Sad Mummy. This ability is in Amumu entangles surrounding enemy units, dealing damage and rendering them unable to move and attack for 2 seconds. This does not go up as levels increase, so you're not going to have like 4 seconds at level 3. But It does scale fairly well with AP. It scales 80% with AP, and then magic damage goes up 150, 250, and 350. So that's all of his abilities. Pretty straightforward champion as far as abilities are concerned. But his gameplay and his mechanics and jungling brings far more utility to the table. So right here, I told Tryndamere that her red buff is up. Again, she had a slower clear speed to her red buff because she did do Wraiths and Wolves. That's something I didn't know. I thought she had just done my jungle path, which is a blue Wraith in red or red Wolf and blue. And the reason I like doing that path, okay, so right here, I saw the Elise walk over our blue ward, and I know she's, well, green ward, but it's blue because blue side. You get what I'm saying. So I see Tryndamere in trouble in the top lane, and I see Elise roaming to him. Now I know I'm seeing on the health bar on the side. I can't see this side, but I can definitely see this side in game. I saw that his health was relatively okay, and I wasn't really concerned about him getting out of this okay or not. I knew he was going to probably make it. So what I do is I make an effort to go in and try and take their red buff, because I saw the Elise walk over my ward, and I was able to see that, okay, she went back in the lane. So what I'm going to do here, since I got level 6 off of that, I'm going to go ahead and just burn my ult, get the easy kill off on the Elise, and now we control her buffs. We control her jungle, and now our team has 4 buffs, assuming that I can be on top of everything and maintain control of those buffs. It is up to me as a jungler to ensure that. Okay, so that's something important for you guys to know. If you're counter jungling a lot, it's up to you to maintain the counter jungle. So right here, I take a lot of turret damage, but Nidalee was able to heal me up. And I wanted to try and get as much damage off on that turret. Had I not been taking turret shots, I would have been able to do some damage onto that turret. Sadly, I was tanking, so I was forced to leave. And right there, warding up, I know enemy junglers, I know how junglers work. They get frustrated when they get their buff taken. So right now, I'm not going for efficiency, I'm going for whatever's going to clear my red buff the fastest. The big monster itself. So right here, I don't know whether Elise is coming into the bush or not, or coming to kill me. I just saw that she was passing over my ward. So you see I was kind of cautious with how I was clearing that. I didn't need to be. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the long way into lane because I don't know where Karma and I don't know where Elise are. So rather than going, sorry, I was pointing at my screen like you guys can see my screen. Instead of coming in through this way and running into them that were in the bush, I took the long way so that I was safe, but I would get there. So right here, Thrush is trying to maintain the turret, but he sadly was not able to. And I sadly bandage tossed a spider, but he got me to the location. So what happened here was I started using Tantrum, auto-attacking, and Elise did flash there. So we were able to get a flash off, I guess. So right here, I thought Elise would have ran further past me by that point, but I guess she didn't. That's lack of bush control vision and everything like that. So right here, I noticed that Elise has to base, and I'm telling my team, yo, if we can get a dragon, that'd be great, because woo, because I know the enemy jungler is low. So not only is that, but I noticed that she has to. Right there, she didn't leave. She was getting a little bit greedy, and she does end up paying the price for it. She will end up dying here, getting just enough damage off on her so that our Caitlyn can get the execute, and then we back off. So right here, now that I know the enemy jungler is dead, we go in for a dragon, because that's honestly the best thing that you can do. If the enemy jungler is dead, no one can outsmite you unless they have a Cho'Gath, and Cho'Gath is top lane. As long as you're a good juggler, you can probably, well, if he's a good Cho'Gath, you won't be able to beat him. But if he's a bad Cho'Gath and you're a good juggler, you can probably beat his Consume, or his Devour, which is hard because it has 1,000 true damage. It's like Nunu's Q maxed out. It's crazy. Anyways, so you see that we were able to pick up the dragon because we killed the enemy Elise, and we were aware that they had no contest to the dragon, and Cho'Gath was in top lane. So I figured, you know what, there's really no risk to this. So if somebody wanted to even force a fight, we could do it. So you see I'm picking up a couple items. I finished off by Spear the Ancient Golem because I like to get really tanky as a Amumu, like I said. And you see I pick up the mobility boots. Now the reason I pick up the mobility boots is because as an Amumu you want to be everywhere on the map to the best of your abilities. And when you start counter jungling, and if you're aware of the fact that you have control of their jungle, you want to pick up the Mobo boots because it allows you to be everywhere. It allows you to counter jungle at the right speeds that you need to. And it's overall a good pickup. Unless the area... Sorry, man, it is cold and early here this morning, but I want to get content out to you guys. But mobility boots are really good when you start counter jungling because if you are able to maintain control of the enemy's buffs, you're able to in turn have the speed, map speed, to get to their buff, to get to your buff, to get to your buff, to get to their buff. You know, so you're able to control the map. And also it helps because you could be in bot lane. They could say, oh, Mumu was bot, don't worry top, go aggro. And if I book it to top lane, I could probably make it to top faster than they would think. And we could probably get kills off the top lane, you know? So it's efficiency with getting to the enemy's buffs. It's efficiency as getting to the enemy lanes. So right here, I'm going to land advantage toss, get my ult off, and just walk away. I'm going to let the Nidalee pick up the kill there. And we're able to get kills onto her. As an Amumu, you don't really scale well with kills. Like, you can pick up items, you can get tankier, but ultimately your damage stays relatively consistent. Your utility in this game comes from your stuns and your CC and everything like that. So right there we were able to get out cleanly, I believe. No deaths whatsoever. We were able to almost kill the Cho'Gath. Almost. So you're going to see me base here. Again, maxing my Q out. And then after I max my Q, I like to max my... I like to max my E out next because I like the damage reduction when I jungle. And also I like the AoE damage when I jungle. And it's a better base damage because it helps me clear out the smaller camps easier because it doesn't deal a percent of their max health, it deals flat damage, which on small monsters is a little bit better, depending on which camp you're at. See, like right here, my tiers chunk the big buff a lot compared to my base damage from my Q, or my base damage from my E ability. Just my thoughts, I don't know. I could be completely wrong, it could be doing 0 damage, and I could just be an idiot. So right here, putting a pink ward in this brush, what that does is it allows your enemy laners, I probably could have placed that a little bit better. Let's go over here. So if you plant it higher towards this side, you're going to be helping out your top lane more. If you place it lower on this side, you're going to be helping out your mid lane more, just because of the vision it grants. The way I placed it right here, it's kind of getting a little bit like the best of both worlds, I guess. It's not ideal, but it works, you know. So be conscious of where you ward in a bush. That can help you. This bush right here will grant vision of red. This right here will grant vision of this pathway. So you got to be aware of where you're warding. But yeah, that's just a little thought for you guys. Oop, not Caitlyn. This is an Amumu guy. So right here, I see that Elise was not by her red buff, and I'm gonna go ahead and try and take this buff. So Ahri comes in, I'm able to pick up the buff, and my stun and her charm were activated at the same time, so it didn't cancel. So they kind of, in a sense, canceled each other out. So right here, we have a ward on their buff, so that means that when they do finally clear the small minion, we'll be able to see when it is cleared, and we'll have time. Right here, I'm telling my team, back up, back up. I got what I came for. I want to leave. I want to push an objective. But no fight ended up breaking out, and we were able to do well. Right here, Caitlyn was talking about how her Thresh left her in lane, and she really needs help. So what I'm gonna do is here, I'm gonna help her out. We're gonna try and get her some help. So Karma does land a nice mantra Q. However, I'm waiting on Ezreal. Always on an Ezreal or anyone with a blink ability, you want to wait for them to blink before you bandage toss. Because right there, you can force a flash, or you will simply be more guaranteed to connect. So right here, landing the bandage toss, locking up the Ezreal and getting him low health. So see, that's my purpose as a Charisma. I'm not trying to get all the kills, I'm trying to make sure my team gets fed, which is why I max my bandage toss. So at max rank on bandage toss, the cooldown is 5.6 seconds. Like, 5.6 seconds minimum. On a long extended gank, you could probably get 2 bandage tosses off. Like, that's huge. And in an extended team fight, you have 3 stuns essentially. Q, ult, Q. You know, so utilizing that and micromanaging when to stun and who to stun, you are so much more effective when you have 2 stuns in a game compared to 1 stun and 1 ult. You know, it's really useful. I like maxing my Qs out, and that's the reason why, is because we're able to pick up more stuns. Other people could say, oh, well, clear speed, you want that, so max W. If you're going to be a farm heavy jungler, that's fine. If you want to take less damage or whatever, do I don't care. I usually max Q just because it gets the ganks off and we're able to do work. So right here, I call for the dragon because Elise is in top lane. However, I did not take tabs on where Cho'Gath was. So Cho'Gath will be coming in here to this dragon. So sadly, my team right here, they stick around for as long as they can, and I don't blame them for leaving. I would have left too. But that's not the point. The point is we have a dragon right here that I need to secure as a jungler. Like, I made an error, and what you guys need to realize is if you make an error as a jungler, make every step to correct it properly or accept the blame for it. So I'm not in the mood to give up this objective. I wanted this objective. So what you see me do is around 1500 health, right here, I stop attacking. I just walk away. Because I know what Cho'Gaths and Nunus and junglers do, is they early smite, early consume, or early devour. So by backing off of all damage, if you see someone trying to tower or dive your Baron or dive your dragon and steal it, just stop auto attacking it. Because they'll misjudge it because they're not aware that you're stopping. See right here, he devours it and I smite. I time it perfectly to where his devour will not be strong enough to kill the dragon. And you see we were able to pick up the dragon there, and that's how you stop a steal as far as dragons or bears are concerned. Just stop auto attacking it, and what will end up happening is you'll end up throwing off their damage expectation and their guesstimation of when it's going to go down, and you're able to essentially stop them from stealing. So that's a good tip for you guys. Right here, maintaining control of their blue buff. I see that Elise is in top lane. Elise is pretty much given up in her jungle. She has no chance of taking back anything as far as her jungle is concerned. So we're just going to take advantage of that and take everything. So right here, if you're not too sure about whether you're going to get the buff to your enemy laner, like, so say if you don't know where some people are on the map and you want to just secure the buff, take the enemy's blue with smite and then give your blue to your laner. Because when you're in enemy territory, it's dangerous for you. If you're in your own jungle, it's a little bit less, but like, you know, it is less danger. So you have more time and more leniency as far as giving away buffs in your jungle compared to their jungle. But just keep in mind, if you're counter jungling, they're gonna try and counter jungle you back to get their buff. So be cautious. Like, I was at my red buff, she didn't counter jungle me the first time. The second time she might have tried, but the first time she didn't counter jungle me, and I was still aware and I was still cautious of it. So that's something to be, you know, mindful about. So let's take a look at the scores. You see that our Tryndamere is doing a lot of work in top lane, 7-4. Middle is doing work in mid, 4-2. Caitlyn going even, that's all that counts. So right here I'm pinging my Nidalee, come get this blue, come get this blue. And here's something. If you guys have Spirit of the Ancient Golem, you know you're going to be doing damage to people who attack you. And they lose 5% of their maximum health over 3 seconds. So you know that. And if you take that one mastery that does damage to monsters as they attack you, I forget what it's called. if you take that one, that will be doing damage as well. So don't get the blue buff super low if they're still not there yet. You see, I turn off my tiers, I turn off all sources of damage and just stand. And you see that gets the blue buff perfectly for her when she gets there. Don't over damage it, because if you over damage it, that's how you end up accidentally taking the buff, because the buff attacks you too much, or you time it wrong and they're not able to get there fast enough. That's what happens. So make sure if you're trying to give your buff over, stop attacking it and let your enemy laner have time to get there. So that's another tip for you guys in the jungle. I've seen so many junglers not give a blue buff to mid lane, or not give a buff that they intended to give off, simply because they underestimated their damage, I guess, or overestimated something. You know what I mean. So right here, let's slow this down. So what you're going to see me do here is I was going to go over to this Karma. However, I realized that Elise was on my squishies, my carries. So what I do here is, as an Amumu, what I'm thinking is, okay, I have an AoE around me, right? If I were to ult now, I would only get Elise and Karma. I would completely miss this Ahri. And that would give Ahri a chance to dash onto the backline. So what I do is, I think, where can I be to encapsulate all three of these people? And that's right here. So you're going to see me make a flash, and then get my ult on. So right there, you see, because I know my distances as a Mumu, I'm able to get all three people in this ultimate. So you want to keep in mind where your ultimate is, how big is your radius, and you want to position yourself to where you get the most people. Again, had I ulted there, I would have only got right here, and I would have only gotten this Karma. Ahri would have been free to walk through my enemy, or through my team. But since I flashed and ulted, I was able to get three people, and we were able to get a sizable amount of damage on most of them. See right here, gonna keep it slowed down. I end up bandage tossing, but for some reason the hitbox was a little bit bigger than I expected, and I bandage tossed one of the minions right here. Like I said, the bandage toss hitbox is pretty big, so be aware of that. So right here, we're just pressuring the enemy team. You see the Ezreal ult come from our back, so we know that he's behind us, and we just end up converging on him. And right here, this is an easy kill. So at this point, you want to start making early looks towards Baron buff, because if your team is this far ahead, our Tryndamere 7-5, Caitlyn 2-1, Nidalee 5-2, Thresh 4-3, me 1-1-7. We're ahead. We are ahead in damage, and we are ahead in gold, and we are ahead in map control. So you want to start setting up for early Baron, okay? Because at this point, especially when you have a 10% damage jungler like Amumu, that's when you want to start, okay? Like, if you can start doing your early Barons now, that's the ideal time. So right there, Thresh doing a very good job of keeping his team alive. Right here, I was going to try and go in and potentially help the Nidalee, but she was dead. All I can do now is I can make sure that this Caitlyn gets alive by being there and being a body. You see that I never position myself to the point where I'm devoted to it, but I keep myself in the rafters for the enemy team to see, oh, he could do it. So don't ever just completely leave unless it's a lost cause. See, right here, we're just sticking close and we're able to save the game. Okay? So that's a lesson. Just don't ever leave completely. Like, being a body will do mental games to the other team. You know? So if you're trying to kill a Caitlyn, you're chasing, your enemy, like, your team's already saying, back off, don't chase, don't chase. And you keep chasing, and say after your chase, you see another person, and you're like, oh, damn, I don't want to mess with that. If my team is pinging me to back off, and I see another person, I'm backing off. So just being that extra body will help so much as far as helping your teammate get out of a sticky situation. So right here, you're going to see my inventory. I pick up a Randuin's Omen. This is really good with Amumu because you're going to be in the middle of the team. So once you bandage toss ult, you can activate your Randuins, and you're going to be doing a lot of slowing and CC. And also it helps for the attack speed debuff and move speed debuff as well. So this is going to help you out a lot. I pick up the wards because I want to make sure that we're able to clean out the Baron pit, because at this point in my mind I'm thinking, yo guys, let's go for early Baron. Right there I was even typing into my team, guys, early Baron, can we please do this? Because I'm ready for it. I want this Baron and I'm ready. So as you can see, dragons coming up, and I'm going to take this white camp, but I'm not going to smite because I know that the dragon is up and I want to save my smite. And I know that my smite's not going to come up by the time dragon is at smiting point. So right here, I'm pinging my team, yo, let's get this dragon. My enemy team is pushing, I guess being a little greedy. I don't know what you could call it. Maybe they're just pressuring, right? And I get greedy for objectives. Whatever it is, I know that the dragon will not always be there, but turrets will always be there. And same with the Baron buff. So logically, how I think about objectives as a jungler is dragons and barons come first, regardless. I mean, inhibitors will take precedence over dragon, but baron should be number one. Because baron's not always going to be there, and if you get a baron buff, that is such a huge advantage, especially this early in the game. So barons are always first. If you can snag a baron, snag it. Next come dragons, assuming that there's not an inhibitor available. If there's an inhibitor available, then inhibitors take first over dragons. But then after dragons, it goes turrets and then buffs. So that's typically the order, and then very last are kills. So you guys can use that as a rule of thumb when you're jungling, to say like, okay, this is where we need to go now, this is where we need to go now. And the thought process behind it is Baron will not always be up. The enemy team can take it, and you won't have it. The enemy turrets will always be there until you take it, and once you take it, it's done for the game. So it's always a good thought process to go for barons first. Barons should take precedence, and then inhibitors if they're open. If they're not an open inhib, dragons take precedence, and then turrets, then then buffs, then kills. Kills are last, because kills are insignificant. It really doesn't matter if you can kill, you know. So right here, clearing out the blue buff because I want that extra mana sustain. And what I do is I smite early. I know that there's no chance that I'm going to get counter jungled, so I smite early so that by the time Baron is ready to be taken, I will have a smite up. So right here, my team's taking a really long time to group up for a Baron buff. We're going to pause that because that was a good ultimate. Good bait. Okay, so we're going to slow it down just a bit. Alright, speed it up. Okay, so I have two teammates getting chased. They're extremely low. Let's pause here. Okay, so let's go to purple side vision. Okay. So by me walking around this wall, I am now completely invisible to the enemy team. To their eyes, this is a 3v2, right? Wrong! Amumu. Right there. So what I do is I throw out my Banish Toss, I'm able to hook the Elise, and I get a nice 3-man ult off, and I'm getting my bandage. I got the Banish Toss, I'm getting my tantrums, landing my auto attacks to reduce the magic resistance, and you see there comes the second stun. That second stun was able to CC the Cho'Gath long enough to discourage him from staying. That is the power behind the second stun. Okay, so right here, this is a perfect time to Baron. My team wasn't taking it. The one person that could stop us, Cho'Gath. The one person that could stop us, Elise. They're both dead or half the base. Like, I don't understand why people don't do this. Like, if I'm paying Baron saying, yo, let's go to Baron, why not do it? See, right here, we're wasting time going for kills. my team is just like, oh, we can get in, we can get this, we can get a kill, we can get a kill. Go for the Baron, Christ. Like, look how fast we take this thing. Like, we're melting this guy's health. Look, 8,000, 7,000, 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1. It literally took 10 seconds. And we couldn't spare that 10 seconds some other time so that we could have ended the game faster. See, that's what I'm talking about as far as, like, be conscious of where the enemy jungler and where the contest for the Baron is. If it's not there and you're ahead, take the early Baron. I mean, Christ. Like, that's the frustrating part to me, that people don't do that. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Hopefully it displayed a lot of things to you guys. Objective control as far as maintaining their jungle, ganking potential, how to use Amumu. I really hope that it did help. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the section down below. And as always, I will be responding to all of the comments because I like talking to you guys, you know? Hopefully you really did enjoy this guide though. If I did leave out anything, please let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. We produce guides like this, videos, fun videos, serious videos, talking videos, any kind of videos. We do it every Monday and Friday, so we do have consistent content. Anyway guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this once again. Thank you for your time, and I really hope that you have a great day. So without anything else to say on this topic, this has been your LOL support, and I am out of here.